Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How are
What's your
you?
name?
Nice to see that you cleaned up for our call. Thank you very much.
I did. I took a shower and I'm not working right now, so I've actually shaved a little bit. I've brought this down a little bit, the hair, and now already it's starting to do that. So I apologize.
I love it. I love it because the thing is that as an actor, if you look great, you can say it's for a role. If you put on weight, you can say it's for a role. I can't. I don't have that luxury to be able to
I have
say.
every excuse.
Obviously, we've released a book. We've released a book called Exposures, which hopefully at this point everybody knows about.
It's a celebration of what we usually only know. Like there's a typical behind the scenes that kind of lets you in, but it's kind of manipulated in a way. It's like, hey, we're going to let you into a behind the scenes. Whereas I think people are responding, at least to the many people that I've talked to about it, is it truly feels like a very organic, personal celebration of what we get to experience.
The one thing about making a movie, as we know, it's not all wine and roses. You know, there are days that it's kind of a slog, and there are days that it's kind of fun and you have a great time. There are other days that it's, things may not be working. I mean, from my perspective, as a cinematographer, there are days that you want sun and you get cloud, or the sun's going down too fast, or there's always something, without wanting to sound negative about it. There's always something that you've got to that can knock you off your perch a little bit when it comes to making a film. So, from my perspective, I think making images that it didn't directly express that journey, because that's a very literal journey. It was more of an idea that visually I could tell the story of our film, but in a sort of in an unceremonial, unromantic kind of way, sort of as captured visually, and as honest and raw as they could be without being kind of designed, and so that for me is what I was aiming for with this book.
It's obviously connected with the film, but it doesn't feel like you're trying to celebrate your own shots and what you did in the film. They almost feel like their own movies. So you just touched on it a little bit, but was it really like we'd be in a scene and then you'd find a moment, having made that kind of pact with Denis that you were going to take some shots during filming of Dune 1 and Dune 2. But was there ever oh God, I got to grab my Leica, or I got to grab my medium format camera, or I got to use this type of film?
I mean, you could almost argue that it was a kind of a little bit more accidental,
Yeah.
except we know that nothing's accidental. We know that you put yourself into a position for a reason, but you capture a kind of a spirit, hopefully, of a film through subconscious and accidental kind of processes.
But didn't it feel, and you just mentioned it, didn't it feel a bit like a regression of sorts, a little more innocent? It's like going back to simpler times, especially when you're consumed with probably the most complicated job you could have, especially on our set. And it's just these moments of going back to like viscera.
The good thing about it, from my perspective, was that I didn't have to deliver anything. There was no what we're talking about today, with the limited edition prints and the collector's edition prints, and the book is the end of a journey. It was not the start of the journey. It wasn't the rationale behind creating any of this stuff. When you and I were talking about kind of the words that could accompany the images, or could accompany the journey, or could add to the images and become part of the design sort of story. Like the great thing about it was there was no end goal in sight, which was the absolute joy in making something. So, having said all that fun stuff, I believe you've just taken possession of some of the prints.
I have.
These are numbered signed prints, aren't they? So we've signed 175 of each of these sets.
That's you.
There's probably a dollop of mayonnaise on the corner of the print as well. Be careful. I was eating a hot dog that day.
There's something personalized about it, and I think that this book has meant so much to us that to know that anybody, any collector out there that actually wants to pay the extra money, and we're not just manipulatively saying this.
Yeah.
This book has meant everything to us.
That's why also adding the signature to this book, you know, to the quality, the beautiful, you know, quality of this one that comes along with it, I think was incredible.
Here, let me see. Put up the. And that's a different color than I love, obviously. I mean, it's much more. I mean,
look at that guy.
I mean, ooh la la. Oh.
That was the guy that's why you could look, like he just got out of bed for that scene.
Now that, see, it's Beauty and the Beast. You just went from Beast to Beauty.
Ooh, oh yes, Timothée. That look, like, it's good that you're in the kitchen holding that up, because that's smoking that picture. Yeah,
it's a good look. It's a good look of Timothy's, and to me, that's half character. No, it's like a third character, a third very Timothée, and a third just abject youth.
Yeah,
that was early.
It's amazing. No, I love the printing quality of this as well. Like, for me, I think that, you know, one of the great things about black and white printing is I can stare at it all day. You know, the depth that black and white prints have is incredible, and it's an amazing subject. I mean, what can I say? I just dearly love shooting on film, because it's always a surprise when it comes out. Well, actually, when it comes out, like, it's always a surprise. Like, when it comes out, there's a thing, like, when I get my prints or my contact sheets back, and when they work, even to this day, it's kind of a bit of a buzz. Fantastic.
Your face is etched by adolescence. Your cheekbones jump toward what are youth-laden eyes that slide down a prominent nose and onto lips of a certain poetry. There's so many connotations. There's so many different things that people have gotten from this poem. You know, Timothée kind of having a moment between Wonka and Dune right now. And then you go, okay, so this thing comes out and they go, who's the old creepy guy writing about the young budding actor? And which, you know, like you with a photograph. And I have a moment where, you know, I'm getting to know this guy, because this was early on. You're getting to know this guy, and you look up and you see these moments of this kid who ran into my trailer days before saying, hey, we have a couple of mutual friends. I was so excited to meet you. And like, what am I doing? Like, this is crazy. I don't know how to do this. I know how to do small films, little independent films. And I just feel, and he's overwhelmed and he's excited. And we've seen this whole trajectory. And that was very much in the beginning. Your face is etched by adolescence. You know, you're still innocent is basically what it's saying. Incredible. Electricity has found residence inside the whites of your eyes. Electricity has found residence inside the whites of your eyes, which to me, Zendaya's eyes are very expressive on many, and very electric.
Love. And I love that shot of Zendaya. You know, that was from a hair and makeup test, actually. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, for second film. So we'd all worked together on part one. Zendaya had not worked that much on part one. She's only in the last 15 minutes of the movie. So this was her hair and makeup test for Dune Part 2. You know, I think the same day we did one with Timothée, and listen, Zendaya, she knows her character. You know, she's a very, very, very clever actress who sort of fell straight into her character. So yeah, that's beautiful. So there's another print of a rando dude that appeared on set.
Oh, here he is. Oh wow. Oh, your best shot for sure.
Ah, look at that guy.
It really is a good shot.
I love that. I love that of you. It reminds me of someone weathered and somebody who's seen it all, but ultimately also has this kind of, I don't know, this inbuilt heart and soul. You know, someone that's way too kind of principled to be a smuggler, you know, but has done it for a reason, as your character has said, is to die next to your family.
It's the opposite, literally the opposite. Still full of poetry, but it's the opposite of what we were saying about Timothée shot.
Exactly. It is a polar opposite. And that's what's funny, interesting, isn't it, about the fact that Timothy's one was on part 1, this was on part 2. Part 2, as a film, feels a lot more weathered, you know, and you know, I think your character is kind of one of those sort of indicators of that weathering.
Winters last and spring surprises, but the wind suggests a warning for something later, something that might need to be prepared for. An ominous air whispers to be heard.
Beautiful. Again, a beautiful kind of prose, Josh Brolin.
Thank you, sir.
Again, I go back to the idea of words adding to an image. Like, you show me that image by itself, and I think it's fantastic. Listen, I'm a very critical of my own work, but I love it because I love the character that it's showing. You add those words to it, for me, that it adds a whole different backstory and a whole different kind of world that inhabits. It's an amazing chance for people to be able to use the images and the words together on their wall, and not just an image and not just the words, but together as a full piece. You know, it's archival paper. It'll last for a very long time, and I think just the quality and the thought that went into it, I'm pretty proud. I'm desperate to see it on people's walls.
You know, this is our version of, you know what, we want to do something more than just putting out a few pictures and writing a few words. Let's put some real care into it. And mine looks better than yours.
I know. I'll get a bit more light on mine. But look at that beautiful reflectiveness of it.
I know. Good, man.